Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is SKTV coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. My name is Sekou Kene, as always. Today we are going to be bringing to you the final result announcement by the National Elections Commission in the Republic of Liberia. Today is October 24th, 2023. Basically, it talk about 2 weeks exact for the National Election Commission to complete the announcement of the result of the October 10th election. Imagine the total registered voter is about 2.4 million people. Less than 2 million people voted. But it's taking our country to announce the result of less than 2 million people, 2 million voters, taking them 2 weeks. That in fact speaks to the fraudulent nature of the process, because it was meant to announce it drip, to be fit their plan. However, we are going to be carrying to you, those of you who might have missed the announcement. We're going to play it. You listen to the final result, and then we will talk about it later. But we want to encourage all of you to share the show so that you can have an idea as to what really happened, so other people too can form part of this very important conversation. So I want to encourage you to go ahead and share the show while you listen to the NEC us.
To the headquarters of the National Elections Commission and to the Commission's daily press briefings. In today's briefing, the Commission will announce results of the elections in Nimba County District Number 4, Biolontuo, and the final nationwide results for the presidential, senatorial, and representative outcomes of the 10th October 2023 general elections. Members of the press, as you are aware, on 10th October 2023, Liberians went to the polls to elect their leaders, including a president and vice president, 15 senators, and 73 representatives. Election day, 10th October 2023, was characterized by a record high turnout of 1,947,155 voters, which constitutes 78.86% of the 2,471,617 total registered voters. This huge turnout is unprecedented in Liberia's modern democratic election history and is due in part to the Commission's successful transition from optical mark recognition OMR system to voter registration to the use of biometric technology for the registration of voters, which produced an excellent final registration roll for the 10th October elections. The Commission notes that these elections attracted much attention from some 10,000 national, regional, and international long-term and short-term observers that were accredited by the Commission to observe the elections. These observers were deployed across the 15 counties of Liberia, and they took stock of how the NEC implemented international standards and electoral best practices in conducting the elections in Liberia. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, following the close of the 10 October polls, the Commission in its daily press briefings informed Liberians and stakeholders about post-election day happenings, ranging from disruption of tally processes across the country to electoral malpractices by some temporary staff recruited by the NEC, specifically at the Monserrado Tally Center, at the Samuel Canyon Sports Complex, 5 temporary staff allegedly involved in malpractices were arrested by the police. Similarly, in Grand Cape County, 4 NEC temporary workers were arrested by the police for alleged electoral malpractices. In both cases, they were remanded into custody pending court trial. The names of these temporary workers are quarantined in the NEC database as they will not serve in any future elections in Liberia. In Nimba County, District Number 4, two polling places in Precinct Biolontuo witnessed the disruption of the counting process when some individuals made away with ballot boxes, damaging their contents in the process. This led to the rerun of the 3 elections at the 2 affected polling places in that precinct. Despite these and other challenges, the Commission notes the completion of counting, tallying, and collation of the results from the 20 October 2023 elections in Biolontuo. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, before proceeding with the announcement of the results of the Commission of the elections, the Commission expresses thanks and appreciation to Liberians for voting in huge numbers. The Commission also extends its thanks to the United Nations ambassadorial missions to Liberia, the African Union and ECOWAS Commission for providing technical, data, and IT support, as well as logistical and other equipment and materials which strengthen the capacity of NEC to deliver on these elections. These partners are also appreciated for their intervention through various mechanisms, including the National Steering Committee on Elections, which advocated for the Commission's readiness to conduct the 10th October polls. The Commission also applauds the Ministry of Justice and the Joint Security for their steadfastness in maintaining peace, yea, their proactive and reactive responses to incidents that could have permanently disrupted the electoral process, but for their timely interventions. To the temporary staff, as well as NEC employees and the NEC management team, we thank you for your diligence in the preparation and execution of your duty during the conduct of the 10 October polls. To the owners of properties that were used as voting precincts, the Commission remains grateful to you for your patriotism and selfless love for country. The Commission also applauds the general public and the general support of international, regional, and local organizations, including Democracy International, Leon, ESA, ECC, etc., to the over 10,000 national, regional, and international observers who observed the 10th October 2023 presidential and legislative elections. The Commission's final commendation goes to the political parties and candidates generally for their peaceful participation in the 10 October polls. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, here now are the presidential, senatorial, and representative outcomes of Electoral District Number 4, Nimba County elections conducted recently. I will begin, and my colleague, Commissioner Awa, will join in. Nimba County, 736 polling places, of a total of 736 polling places, constituting 100%. Alberton Junior Edward W. GDM, votes obtained 6,128, constituting 2.64%. Boyka Joseph N. UP, votes obtained 138,070, constituting 59.53%. Brown Junior Allen R. LRP, votes obtained 3,501, constituting 1.51%. Cummings Alexander B. CPP, votes obtained 2,592, constituting 1.12%. Freeman Simeon CM, MPC, votes obtained 2,481, constituting 1.07%. Gonglo Tiawan Se, LPP, votes obtained 17,024, constituting 7.34%. Kamara Senior Lucini F. Alcup, votes obtained 2,481, constituting 1.07%. Kiamon David G. B. D. PPL, votes obtained 678, constituting 0.29%. Collie Alexander N. RNC, votes obtained 617, constituting 0.27%. Kuyate Sheikh A. LFM, votes obtained 781, constituting 0.34%. Kroma Bendu Alema Independent, votes obtained 842, constituting 0.36%. Miller Richard Say, LFP, votes obtained 380, constituting 0.16%. Moneybar Clarence K. Lionel, votes obtained 397, constituting 0.17%. Morris Roberts Friends Independent, votes obtained 518, constituting 0.22%. Nyanti Sarah Beslow All, votes obtained 411, constituting 0.18%. Tweeder William Ware DNA, votes obtained 1,257, constituting 0.54%. Turner Joshua Tom, NLP, votes obtained 835, constituting 0.36%. Weah George Mannen CDC, votes obtained 50,427, constituting 21.74%. Wapo Jeremiah Z votes obtained 1,319, constituting 0.57%. Yofi Luther N. Rebuilders, votes obtained 1,191, constituting 0.51%. Total valid votes 231,930, constituting 100%. Total invalid votes 16,422. Total votes 248,352. I now invite Commissioner Awa to read the senatorial and representative votes from Nimba County District 4.
I present to you the National Elections Commission's Progressive Tally Report consolidated for the Senate, Nimba County, today, Tuesday, October 24th, 2023. The Senate, Nimba, 736 polling places of the total of 736 polling places, constituting 100%. Candidates: Johnson Prince Yomi, MDR, votes obtained 128,437, constituting the valid votes of 54.92%. Tyen Junior Nya, Independent, votes obtained 56,651, constituting the valid votes of 24.23%. Duo Roland G, CDC, votes obtained 20,015, constituting the valid votes of 8.56%. That concludes the Senate, Nimba County. We proceed with Electoral District 4, Nimba County. 84 polling places of the total of 84 polling places, constituting 100%. Candidates: Mencier Senior Ernest M. MDR. Votes obtained 7,760, constituting the valid votes of 28.89%. Kargon Gompu L. CDC. Votes obtained 7,755, constituting the valid votes of 28.87%. Kwanu Orlando M. NDC. Votes obtained 2,047, constituting the valid votes of 7.62%. That concludes the returns from Nima County. Madam Chair, I duly submit.
Thank you, Commissioner Awa. Members of the press, the Commission, having completed the nationwide tally of votes with 100% of all polling places reporting, the following is the final presidential election outcome, which I now read. National Presidential Progressive Tally Report Consolidated. 5,890 polling places of a total of 5,890 polling places, constituting 100%. Alperton Junior Edward W. GDM, votes obtained 40,271, constituting 2.20%. Boyka Joseph N. UP, votes obtained 796,961, constituting 43.44%. Brown Junior Allen R. LRP, votes obtained 15,607, constituting 0.85%. Cummings Alexander B. CPP, votes obtained 29,613, constituting 1.61%. Fremont Simeon CM MPC, votes obtained 13,205, constituting 0.72%. Gonglo Tiawanse LPP, votes obtained 26,394, constituting 1.44%. Kamara Senior Lucini F. Alcop, votes obtained 35,988, constituting 1.96%. Kiamon David G. DPPL, votes obtained 5,086, constituting 0.28%. Collie Alexander N. RNC, votes obtained 4,398, constituting 0.24%. Kuyate Sheikh A. LFM, votes obtained 5,100, constituting 0.28%. Kroma Bendu Alema, Independent, votes obtained 5,991, constituting 0.33%. Miller Richard Say LFP, votes obtained 2,885, constituting 0.16%. Monimba Clarence K. Lino, votes obtained 5,298, constituting 0.29%. Morris Robert Friends, Independent, votes obtained 3,363, constituting 0.18%. Nyanti Sarah Beslow, all, votes obtained 3,644, constituting 0.20%. Tweeder William Ware, DNA, votes obtained 11,184, constituting 0.61%. Turner Joshua Tom, NLP, votes obtained 9,813, constituting 0.53%. We are George Mane, CDC, votes obtained 804,087, constituting 43.83%. Wapo Jeremiah Z, votes obtained 9,149, constituting 0.50%. Yofi Luther N. Rebuilders, votes obtained 6,479, constituting 0.35%. Total valid votes, 1,834,516, constituting 100%. Total invalid votes, 114,639. Total votes, 1,949,155. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the results of the 10th October 2023 polls showed that the ticket of the Congress for Democratic Change, CDC, obtained the highest number of votes, 804,087, constituting 43.83%, followed by the ticket of Unity Party, which obtained 796,961 votes, constituting 43.44%. However, ladies and gentlemen of the press, Article 83B of the Constitution of Liberia requires that for any presidential ticket to win outright on the first ballot, that ticket must acquire at least 50% plus one of the valid votes cast. Article 83B further states that where no presidential ticket obtains at least 50% plus one, the two presidential tickets that receive the highest number of valid votes shall participate in a runoff election to be held on the second Tuesday following the expiration of the time provided for in Article 83C. With the results of the 10th October polls showing that no presidential ticket obtained 50% plus one vote, a runoff election is hereby declared to be held on Tuesday, 14 November 2023, between the two tickets that obtained the highest number of votes, the presidential ticket of the Coalition of Democratic Change, CDC, led by Mr. George Manawia, and the presidential ticket of Unity Party, UP, led by Mr. Joseph Numa Boyka. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, political campaign for the 14 November runoff election is hereby declared open today, 24th October 2023, and shall close on the 12th of November 2023 at 11:59 p.m. All of the results read can be found online, results.necliberia.org. I thank you.
So that will conclude the announcement of results from the National Elections Commission in the Republic of Liberia. First and foremost, I want to welcome all of you. I want to say thank you so much for joining SKTV. If you can hear me, if the video and everything is okay, please say yes, it's okay. Because from my end here, it seems like we are having some little bit of problems in terms of the internet. I'm not sure what is going on. But yes, let me know if you can hear me, if everything is good. Because let me see what's going on here. It looks like we are having some technical problem with the video on here. I don't know. Can you guys, is everything okay? It looks like we're having some issue. But from my end here, it looks bad. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what is going on, but
We'll take your questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Question?
No, it's not good.
Well, thank you, Madam Commissioner. My name is Ayisin Iba, and I report for KMTV. Well, as per the various reports that came out during your many press briefings, I'm concerned with regard to the total number of ballot papers that were actually untouched. Can we get the figure?
Very good question.
We can get you the figures later. They're not before me, and I need to be exact.
Madam Chair, my name is Eric Kennedy, and I represent Arjar. Given all that we now know, including but not limited to the challenges and the circumstances that attended the October 10 poll, what lessons has the Commission learned, and what can you do differently, if anything, as we go through or as we go to the runoff elections in November? Challenges including the problem we have with transporting materials to Sino County, people commandeering ballot boxes in NEMA, and all of that stuff. So what is the Commission planning to do differently so that we don't encounter those problems again? Thank you.
You want me to answer, or you just want to put it straight? Okay. I think basically, and this is unrehearsed, I think basically that one of the lessons that the Commission has learned is to ensure that all logistical options are on the table with respect to reaching hard to reach areas. In other words, we had to use boats to send some of our materials to the southeastern and northern region of, of the country, specifically boats for the southeastern region because of access to the ocean and additional rugged vehicles to reach to places that like Nimba and Lufa County. Yeah.
Thank you. Madam Chair, my name is Henry Kamo, and I represent the Front Page Africa. Madam Chair, my question is, with evidence provided by this commission, where you reported that NEC workers were arrested for malpractices, should or would you consider this fair elections you just conducted, especially where your temporary workers were involved with malpractices? And should the public trust you for the runoff, especially when you will be using the same people, the same NEC workers?
I will answer your question by saying that we told you that the NEC workers in the Monserrato Tally Center as well as in Cape Mount were caught and turned over to the police. That's one action that we took. The second action we took was to ensure that whatever malpractices they were engaged in were reviewed and corrected on the spot. And if you say whether this election is fair, I would say by the actions that we took to make corrections as we're going on, and the fact that we brought those problems to you and the Liberian people and told you what corrective measures we put in place to address the different challenges that we had, I would say to you that the 2023 10th October elections were fair elections. Yeah. Certainly, you should trust us today, tomorrow, and the day after.
Look at that.
All right, so Madam Commissioner, my name is Prince Mobile, and I report for Prime FM and Focus on Liberia. So I have two concerns. One, now that the Commission has announced the final result and also announced date for a runoff elections, this issue was experienced during elections day. People had valid voter cards. Their names were captured in the FRR, but then when the polling places, they were told
that others have voted in place of them. Is the commission aware of that? If so, what was responsible for that? And what can the commission do so that we cannot have the recurrence of that during the runoff elections? My second concern is we have recorded huge number of invalid votes, 14,000 plus invalid votes. What was responsible for that? If I
Okay, let me
got
start
the
with
figure
your-
correct.
Yeah, let me start with your last question. Invalid votes, I don't know how to put it. There are multiple reasons why we normally experience invalid votes in elections. And this is not a Liberian thing. This cuts across most of the African countries. What might be different would be the number. In this case, we say is 114,000 plus. So there are several reasons, but I will just name a few. We learned along the way that the number of ballots, 3 ballots given to voters, some were confused and did not know what to do. It looked too much for them, so they folded them without marking them and put them in the ballot box. Then invalid votes
not true.
also comes about when Liberians decide, and I'll put it this way, to be vexed with a candidate that they don't like and mark the person's face all over. Sometimes they put some 4-letter words all over their faces. And I'm saying this because we have done a survey before. And we saw some of the things that Liberians put on those faces of candidates that they don't like. They don't want to see the person. So they want to scratch them off the ballot. Secondly or thirdly, some persons will mark outside of the box completely. That there are just multiple reasons. We've been criticized for not conducting enough CVE to ensure that voters will mark the ballots the way how they are supposed to. So we take that correction. We'll do our best next time. But also too, I would say that when we formulate a budget to address most of these things, those of us who criticize now should be the ones to say to the legislature, give the people the money. Because every step of the way that we take, we pay for it. So if we next time have to go from door to door to explain to Liberians how to mark the ballot, we need to be supported financially. Then finally, I would say that to address civic and voter education in the long term is to ensure that electoral information is integrated in the curriculum in all of the schools, including at university level. So people get to know how to mark the ballot, they get to know their rights and all of that. And they get to know not to be vexed with the candidate that they don't want to see. Because when you mark that ballot and you are vexed marking that ballot, you are simply saying, I score my ballot. Yes.
I don't understand that.
This is something that is new to me personally, because I have been receiving reports for many things that happen in the field. Some of them I went and saw myself. But this particular one that you're talking is not before me, it's not before the commission. But probably you may be alluding to the fact that those who were multiple registrants were placed in the back of the FRR. That booklet has 2 parts. The first part is for Liberians registered genuinely in a particular polling place, so they come first. Then those who committed the crime of registering more than once are placed in the back of the FRR. So there are 2 parts. One part for the good people and the other part for those who committed crime. If you come and bring your card and say you come to vote, you are checked in both parts. If you're not found in part 1, they look in part 2. And if you are in part 2 will say where you first registered, and the election workers will direct you to that place that you first registered. And you are supposed to go there, not to go to different other places that you did not register, to be looking for yourself where the other places are.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Nkame Lomo. I work for the News Public Trust. I would like to know how many electoral dispute cases before the NEC and how many of it have been disposed. 2, can we also know the budget needed for this runoff election? Thank you.
Those are 2 questions I cannot address immediately because the budget is not before me. And with respect to the number of cases, we know that we have received cases, something close to, I think about 5,
5?
thereabout, between 5 and 8. Some of them are being heard at the local magisterial level, and then the others are being heard here. And we started hearing them already, but we have not ruled in any yet. But the information that you need, we'll give them to you the next time, please. Please sit down.
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. My name is Evelyn Sipi. I report for AFP and DW. I just want to know from you, 1, how is the Elections Commission considering the issue of inking the voters' fingers before casting the ballot or after, which approach will be used during the second round? My next question is, of these different disputes and now election result has been announced, what happens and how do the public get to know the actual findings from these investigations?
I would say to you that we conduct hearings here at the commission. And if you're interested, like others have been, you probably might want to come. What we try to control is that when you come as a journalist, you write what you see and hear. We will not encourage recordings. So you can also come. That is the press and any other persons who may want to come. Then what was your next question? Inking the finger before. We ink the finger before they cast their votes. Is that how it happens, my friend?
You don't know?
Hold on, please. Let the most experienced commissioner in the area of field coordination, let him talk.
Thank you. The reason why we ink before you cast your vote, because when you cast your vote, that's the last aspect of the process, and you have to leave the center. And the time you will take to drop your ballot into the ballot box, the ink has dried. And when the ink dry, it's a situation that indeed you have voted. And the staff will monitor you while you are putting your ballot into the ballot box. Now the issue that you want to raise would be the stain. The stain will not affect the mark that person has placed on the ballot paper. No, it will not mark. Because once the ink is placed on your finger, it takes less than 2-3 seconds to dry.
Talking about the numbers of in-ballot voters that are so and the spread of voters we have, there are recommendations coming from the public because at some polling centers, like folks, like people who are not very diligent about the voting process, in the process of polling, there are reports of these things running through on other people. Now I'm asking whether the Elections Commission is considering that as maybe another approach of what to do, whether after the casting of ballots to avoid this.
But if the ink is placed on for instance on the ballot paper, the mark of that person, the intent of that person is known by the presiding officer. So it does not amount to invalid vote. It does not amount to invalid vote.
Hold on, please. Hold on, please. Hello. Yes, please. Please, can we just have it quiet? And then if you understand the question a little better and you want to say something about it, you can go ahead.
Yes, so to this question, I was to some of the polling places where the votes will be counted. And the poll watchers and the head workers were declaring those ballots invalid because it has spilled over, even though the intent was clear for the check mark, but because of some little mark on the other candidate marks, those papers were declared invalid.
All right, thank you very much. Let's have one of
Okay.
our technical staff, who's the deputy for administration, share a little more light on this. Go ahead, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. The reason why we ink before you cast the ballot nowadays is that some people refuse to get inked. And once you shall have cast your ballot, there's no way that we have a remedy. So that's the reason why we say before you cast it, you are inked so that you don't return. And we agree with what you said, but during the training, we will see what to do to make sure that the ink does not spill. But from our experience, people get inked after they cast their ballot. But in the past, some people cast their ballot. You say, come, let's ink you. They say, no, you can't ink us. What do you do in that case? You cannot withdraw the ballot from the box. So that's the main reason why we have transitioned from inking after casting to inking before casting. I hope you understand.
In other words, we thank you for that recommendation and we'll look into it.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. I'm Nelson Collier, and I report for the Spoon Network. I have three concerns. The first one has to do with reports of trucking and another report of individuals purchasing voter registration cards. For the trucking and that, now, considering that elections are expected to be free, fair, and transparent. Let's speak to the aspect that has to do with free. What is the National Elections Commission doing to ensure that these issues are addressed? Okay. And I made specific reference to a candidate in Bond County, Morgana Flomo, who was heard on the local media this morning, that he had issues with trucking and all of that. He reported to the National Elections Commission since July up to present. He's yet to receive a redress on that. What is, now that you've announced a runoff, how do you intend to address that situation? That's my first concern.
Okay, you hold it there, please.
Okay.
The issue of trucking. Now, everybody's business here. Everybody's business. Because it's your brother, your sister, your auntie, your uncle that get in a truck from one community and go to another community to vote where they do not reside. They go there. The Elections Commission's mandate is register Liberians as voters. Now, if we are to police people who were trucked, then it means that it's another mandate that we are delving into that is not prescribed by law. But we work with the LNP to ensure that the law that says you should register and vote, register to where you ordinarily reside, and it's in that same place that you are going to vote. We all should strive to ensure that this happens. And it's not the business alone of the commission. This is a very difficult situation that any election finds itself in. And either we go back to the law for it to be revised to ensure that people who get in trucks, motorbikes, bicycle, some people can even move without riding any of those things. and they move in mass from communities. Now you know the difficulty in checking that. So maybe we need to petition the legislature to strengthen the law that speaks to trucking, and then perhaps all of us might be satisfied that the rest of us remain in our communities. Secondly, I will say to you, even in our advocacy, the awareness raising about people's rights to vote and to use the law as it says, you should register where you ordinarily reside, and it's that same place that you vote has been one of the key messages we have targeted different communities and to speak about in those civic and voter education exercises that we have conducted. Now, the issue about, you say people purchasing voter cards?
There are reports of that.
There are reports. So these reports, the NEC cannot substantiate them. You can't substantiate these reports. But it's against yourself to sell your card. It's against yourself to give your card to anybody else other than you. Because it's with that card that you can exercise your franchise, you can make that decision to vote for who you want to be your president, your senator, and your representative. If you want to give your card to somebody else, that person cannot use the card because the person is not you, but the person buying your card can prevent you from voting. So we all need to be aware of this and I don't know, talk to our brother, sister, auntie, uncle, you know, and children.
And the last two concerns. Okay, so we saw that from the start of this process for the first time, the BVR, the biometric voter registration, was introduced. What significant impact did that BVR have on this process to sort of curb the malpractices and all of that? And what's the status of the payment of those temporary staff? The last time you spoke of it, where are we now? Have they been paid?
The staff are being paid. One of the, and maybe my colleagues can join me too. The brain getting tired, but I say to you, the biometric voter registration that we conducted captured your unique information, your unique feature, your face, your thumbprint, and the rest of the other information on your card. Your face and your thumbprint, even if you were a twin, will be different. Nobody else is you. And that is so important. The BVR also was significant because, yes, one person, one card. One person, one card. As we expect, well, one person, one card, one vote. The cleanup was necessary because some of our relatives went and registered more than once.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Commissioner. My name is Jonathan J. Slonton, and I report for Ambassador Stevie Liberia. In one of the press briefings, you mentioned that some of those who were to go at polling places on election day, they did not go, they didn't show up, so they were replaced by other people. And I visited a few of the counties. Voters had issue with those who were assigned in those places, some of those. One, the person couldn't identify or couldn't even know what to do when it comes to someone being pregnant who stood online for 8 hours. Other people as well were not prioritized. And in one of those places, somebody stood online in the morning, went to the person and said, "Is this my line?" He said, "Yes." Only for the lady to reach at the door, almost 5-6 hours standing. They said, "No, you are not here, you are at the other place," which raised serious contention. What is the election commission doing for such a thing not to occur in the runoff?
we will do everything humanly possible to train the staff to do the right thing. So probably what you may have experienced was unique to that one person who was also trained to recognize persons with disabilities as well as pregnant women, and others. So I would say that was just one case. Next question, please.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner and the Board of Commissioners. My name is Moses Gaziru from the BBC. One very important question. We said the second Tuesday after the legislative period for the first ballot, but the second Tuesday is not the 14th of November. Why? Is there any reason why, Madam Chair?
Yeah. The reason is every electoral or elections that happens, there is something in the law that says you need to give a period for people to digest what you have pronounced. And if at all someone is not satisfied, they can raise contention. So you need that 7-day period. So then you start counting. You understand what I'm saying? Then you start counting from that. Yeah. That is so correct. But we also have Supreme Court opinions that we look through and they make the decisions, and we lift them to make the decisions here in the commission. Next question, please.
Thank you. My name is Gerald Koyinen. I write for Front Page Africa. I want to follow up on a few of the questions we asked last week. One is about your data analyst that was accused of being partisan. And when we asked you, you said the CDC who filed the accusation was yet to appear for the hearing. Did it appear? If no, what happened to your data analyst? Was he recused from the process entirely, or he was allowed to do his work?
Let me answer that question. Let me answer, please. We told you that a complaint was filed by the CDC to the commission. That complaint is being processed. And to be processed means that the burden of proof and everything else that a complainant brings to the table will also have to be reviewed. So we say we have the complaint and we are processing it. Your second part is that normally when somebody complains against you, you continue your work until the process reaches the point where they have to either recuse themselves. But let me also say that in the data center, we told you before that we had consultants, experts. We had 2 from the AU, 2 from ECOWAS, 2 from UNDP. Now, the way it works inside there is that everyone gets a buy into what a problem is or a contention, and all of them decide before processing the data. So it's not just one person calling the shots. Yes.
Thank you. So finally, last week you mentioned that the commission already has the budget for the possible runoff. Now that you have announced a runoff, what is the budget for the runoff?
We'll give you that figure in due time. So we take another 4 questions and we call it a day.
My name is D. Olivia Bawon, and I report for Local Voices Liberia and Truth FM. Madam Chair, what's the level of coordination between the state security and the NEC? Because during the recent election, some of us journalists were denied access to some of the polling places on the order of 1 or 2.
I can assure you that the commission will continue to provide that information to the LMP, that you have accreditation and you should be allowed.
My name is Tina S. Mempe. I report for the Daily Observer newspaper. A follow-up to the invalid votes question. So I would like to know whether the invalid votes that was recorded will be audited to know
whether it was as a result of over-inking or it was just because some voters didn't like certain candidates and then they went ahead and messed up the ballot papers.
We explained in a previous question that it's the usual procedure or process that the National Elections Commission engages in to do a survey after these elections to know why we had this number of invalid votes. And once that is done, we'll share it with you.
Madam Commissioner, thank you so much for the hard work. My name is Achid Boan, and I report for Today Labrador Television. I have two concerns, and one has to do with those electorates that were involved in double voting. Since the onset of the provisional results pronouncement, we haven't heard from the elections commissioners as it relates to those who were involved into double voting. Since then, have you observed any case and how far you have gone with those cases? Because when we were in the field, we observed a lot of cases of those that were involved into double voting. And for transparency's sake, I think it is prudent enough for the National Elections Commission to flag this issue out, because this alone will put fear in those who be electors who will be involved into that. And my second concern.
Let me answer you there, please.
Okay.
The issue about double voting, if it comes by way of complaint to the commission, I can assure you that we will deal with it.
Yeah, so the second question means, before I go to the second question, so you are alluding that since then there have been no case of double voters.
No, I just told you that if we get those complaints, we'll deal with them.
Okay, now to the second issue.
Because if you complain formally, it becomes legal. It becomes a legal process. So when we get through that, we'll let you know.
Okay, the second concern has to do with most of the staffers that are assigned to those polling places. They are not aware of the fact and the role that journalists played when it comes to the elections period. I'm saying to say, I means that we journalists were denied of entering into polling rooms when there were countings and voting. We were only informed that we are not allowed to carry our camera to a voting booth, but we were denied by our staffers from entering into the polling rooms to observe how the elections have been conducted. So I want to know as to whether there's any formal education provided to establish on the role of journalists in or during the elections period.
Okay, let my colleague who knows about the business, let him expound on it a little bit. Commissioner.
Thank you. Let me say that the journalists too should know the do's and the don'ts. During the electoral process, we encourage journalists to go around, because journalist is a roaming person who go around will observe the process. But when it comes to the counting and polling process, the observers that is accredited to that particular center are the ones that are in that center to observe the counting and polling process, and counting and sorting and reconciliation process. Because when something happened down there, you who roaming around the area, you don't know exactly what happened down there. You'll not be reporting the fact as compared to someone who has been there from the morning up to the time counting, reconciliation, and sorting will be taking place. So again, the issue about the do's and don'ts is very important. Some of the journalists, very good professional people, but some of the journalists will just go to the center and look at the police and say, I'm a journalist. I need access to this thing. And some of the journalists were even reporting live while the thing was taking place. So the do's and the don'ts are very important in the process. We don't have problem with you going during the process to observe what is taking place there. But when it comes to the issue of sorting, reconciliation, and counting, that is a dedicated issue. And people, that's why we encourage the party agent, the independent candidate, the national, international, to be there, so that when anything happens down there, it can be easily solved as compared to you be roving around. You don't have the facts about what has taken place there. Sometimes the little issue that occurred there, the presiding officer has already solved that problem. You come, you say, I'm a journalist. You want to go back to the state. So sometimes some of the journalists can go start the process. And I don't think it's a good proceeding. We can encourage you. And that's why when you are moving around as a journalist, go to the presiding officer and say, presiding officer, I'm assigned into this polling place. I want to be there for counting, reconciliation, and sorting. At that point in time, you're not a journalist, but rather you are observer, and you are there to observe the process. But when you carry your tie on the polling and counting procedure as a journalist, then you can, then sometimes the presiding officer will follow the do's and don'ts and say, oh, can you please leave, because this place is assigned to people who are assigned as a party agent, independent candidate, and what have you.
So hold on, excuse me, sir, Sir, please.
I'm saying when you are a journalist, time for counting, sorting, and reconciliation, you are to tell the presiding officer from the beginning and say, I will be here for the counting, and at that time, you are not a journalist, you are an observer.
Thank you, Commissioner. Hello, please. I can understand because I worked 20 years as a broadcast journalist and at some point a reporter. I understand exactly where you're coming from. But let me say to you that we usually conduct training for journalists to cover elections. So we will remember now that it's critical to process you in a training so we can know, or you will be able to know what your metes and bounds are in terms of how journalists can participate or to cover an elections, how far you can reach into the polling place and all that kind of, information that is needed. So I guarantee you that this will happen because my friend, I didn't recognize you. You won't give me a hard time yet. I am assuring you that we'll do something about it. Yeah, so the agitation, don't worry about it. It's good.
So we'll take the final question. Well, of course, my name is George Johnson Jr., and I work with United Methodist Radio. Madam Commissioner, thank you ever so much for the hard work. But I would like to know from you exactly, looking at some of the electoral malpractices, how does that actually equate that to your strength and your weakness?
So I would say then our weakness. You understand what I'm saying? If we employ temporary staff, we train them to do a particular job. They go to do the job and they deviate from it. The thing is, it's not a commission that told them to go do that. They decided to do something otherwise. And this is why we informed you that, yes, they are under the Elections Commission in terms of being temporary staff to conduct the elections, you understand? But they deviated from those instructions that we gave them. And this is why they found themselves being arrested by the police, incarcerated, and on their way to court if they didn't reach there yet. But I'm saying to you, 32,000 Liberians, we expect them to be neutral. And even if you were not neutral there, the fact that you signed up and you signed the oath, the NEC oath, that you will conform to the statutes or whatever to conduct elections, and you deviate from there, it's a grave thing. It's grave.
We'd like to say thanks to you for coming. We'd like to say thanks to the members and chairperson of the Board of Commissioners. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so first want to say thank you to all of you for continuing to follow SKTV. Want to say thank you so much for sharing the show as well. As you listen to the National Elections Commission, the chairperson, Madam Deviata Brown Lansana, we know that a lot happened, and we know very well that whatever happened during the electoral process, we believe the malpractices, the little malpractices, the discrepancies that transpired during the process in different locations, during the electoral process, that is obvious. those things happen everywhere. But what we are talking about here, and what is concerning to many Liberians, is the numbers that were reported for Mr. Cummings and other presidential candidates. I think we are having some technical problem. I don't know if you're experiencing this. From my end, it's kind of like off and on. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But if it's okay at your end, then that's fine. The question is the numbers for the presidential ballot. They don't make sense. And it has been the concern of all the Liberian people, including candidates that actually participated, that ran for positions, especially for the presidency. And yesterday evening, we had a show. For some of you, it was a night. It was a night at your end. And you might have been sleeping. You may have been sleeping. Or perhaps you were up. But we came on last night or yesterday evening to actually provide some information as it relates to some of the actions being taken by the opposition political party, especially the people who were concerned, who believe that they have to address the concerns of the Liberian people. Speaking of Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings and Madam Sarah Beslow Nyanti and Dr. Clarence Monoba. They are all standard bearer for their respective parties. So they wrote a letter or communication on the 21st, but it was delivered yesterday to the National Elections Commission. So just in case those of you who might have missed this particular communication, I want to read it to you so that you will know that the National Elections Commission, they are aware of the fact that you're concerned, that you are concerned about the process, that you have doubt, that you have many questions to answer when it comes to the numbers being reported. So some of the leaders, including Mr. Cummings, Sarah Beslow, and Dr. Clarence Monoba, they wrote to them and inform them about the concerns all of you have and also what they intend to do with it. Mr. Honorable David Atta Brown Lansana, Chairperson, National Elections Commission, 9th and 10th Street, Topman Boulevard, Cinco, Monrovia, Liberia. Dear Madam Chairperson, many Liberians, including partisans, supporters, and well-wishers of our parties, are deeply concerned about the announced results of the October 10th elections, especially the presidential contest. As a result, we have decided to conduct a forensic examination of the ballot papers by experts at no cost to the National Elections Commission. Therefore, we request the National Election Commission to not destroy the used and unused ballot papers after the final result are announced. They are saying basically that because of the concern you have raised, all of us have raised, we say that we are not satisfied. We say that the numbers are not making sense. So they are speaking on behalf of the Liberian people. There are other political parties that don't care. Some of them, they only worry about themselves. They don't care about the opinions or the concerns of the Liberian people. So these three standard bearers, for their individual party, they came together and asking National Election Commission whether it's the 114,000 invalid papers, whether it's the 1,900,000 valid papers, whether it's the remaining unused ballot papers, they are asking you, please do not destroy them. Allow them, keep them, all of them, because you already use it. You have no more use for them. And the reason for this is very simple. You see, they want to conduct a forensic examination, which means they're going to hire experts to go and examine the document to make sure that there were no foul play. And that examination will help all of us to clear our doubt, to satisfy our curiosity as to what really happened. So they said, thank you in advance for working with us in this important undertaking. All Liberians need to continue to believe in the conduct of free and fair elections as the best way to choose our leaders. If that process now leaves many with disbelief and doubt, we should all be willing to take the required actions to clear the doubt. The forensic examination will assist in offering that much needed assurance to the Liberian people. We, therefore, urge your cooperation and support in this patriotic endeavor. Sincerely, Benedict Cummings, Standard Bearer Collaborating Political Party, Sarah Beslo Nyanti, Standard Bearer African Liberation League, and Dr. Clarence Monuba, Liberian National Union. And this document was received by Ketru Sigbe. She put her phone number there. She received it yesterday. And that was around 3:28 p.m. It means that somebody is standing up for you. Somebody is standing up for the Liberian people. Somebody is doing something about your concern. It means that the doubt we have will be clarified. Our doubt will be clarified. Because why? If the forensic investigation is done, it will help all of us to understand as to what really happened. You tell me, 114,000 votes could be equivalent to about 3 counties in the Southeast, including Grand Crew, Riverside, Sano, and so forth and so on, but at least 3 counties in the Southeast. What happened? Some of the excuses given by the chairperson of the Election Commission are so weak. The excuses are so weak, it cannot be taken seriously. To somehow dissolve three counties vote, and when the forensic expert engages the process, they will be able to know what really happened to those 114,000 ballot papers. Equally so, whether or not the ballots that the people used to vote, whether that was the ballot that was actually announced by the National Election Commissions, whether or not those pen or ink they give the people to write on, as it has been alleged that most of those pen that they used, when people put the paper there, writing there, it will fade away. It will kind of get erased in a few hours or 30 minutes or 45 minutes. That means you have no way of knowing how the people voted. So they will go ahead and use whatever that they have planted in their system, whatever that was inserted in the system before the election, whether that was the one that they announced to us. Because what happened during the election process, while the people were still counting the vote, the election commissions document that they read to the Liberian people for 14 days, Spoon Network had all those information. Before even the counting of the ballot papers at the various precincts and polling centers, Spoon Network was already in possession of all those documents, and they were there announcing it. In fact, even the journalists in studio get confused. Stanton will open the paper, already clip, and will tell you the precinct numbers, and then they will talk about, the vote. So Stanton was already aware of the document, announcing the document, making it to look like the CDC and the Unity Party are the two major contenders in the elections. That's why even international journalists, given what they projected, they were all saying the main opposition, referring to Unity Party. And that's exactly how the CDC wanted it, and that's exactly how Stanton Witherspoon and other people who were working with NEC to carry on the fraudulent process, to make it look like it is only the Unity Party and the CDC, the major parties in the country, by presenting fraudulent outcome, fraudulent paper to make it look like they are the actual political parties. When you listen to BBC or any other network, you hear them, the main opposition, the standard bearer for the main opposition, Joseph Nima Bokai, you will hear them saying that, Joseph Nima Bokai, because that's exactly what they wanted. But whether consciously or subconsciously, the Unity Party people supported the fraudulent conduct of the process because it projected them to be in the second round, or they somehow view themselves that they could potentially win the election in the first round, thereby making them feel comfortable, making it to look like all the other parties are insignificant. So to only focus on the Unity Party and the CDC. Unity Party and the CDC. So, hold on one second. Unity Party and I'm trying to check something here real quick. Okay. Yeah, so they're trying to make it look like the two important parties in there were the Unity Party and the CDC. What the Unity Party didn't know was that both the CDC and the Unity Party numbers were inflated. Communist numbers were not counted. So those who are saying that communists got less than 2%, communists got 1%, communists got this, communists got that, they don't know what they're talking about. Even those who are saying, oh, communist number was given to Apiton, those people too don't know what they are saying. Communist number was not given to Apiton. Communist number was not given to Lucini Camara. Let me tell you what they did. All the major political parties, whether it's communists, whether it was Clarence Monuba, whether it was Tiawan Gonglo, whether it was Lucini Camara, for the most part, those were the major players at the presidential level. And all of those people, their fate were decided before the election. Their positions were decided before the election. They have experts who are criminals, who know how to manipulate the data, who know how to cheat in elections. They did it in Nigeria. They did it in Sierra Leone. They have done it in other parts of Africa and around the world. The thing what they didn't know about Liberia is the history, the historical nature as to how our election goes. We all know that in Liberia, we have a system in place wherein whenever you have multiple candidates, whenever you have more players within the political process, that the possibility of somebody achieving certain number of votes is impossible, which is evidenced by our historical data. The people who cheat for them, who cheated for them, who manipulated the system for them, they don't know the history. Or if they know the history, they forgot to know that people will pay attention to those things. That whenever you have multiple numbers of candidates for president, the possibility of somebody achieving over 30 or 40% is difficult. Because in Liberia, we vote on tribal line. We vote on county line. We vote on sectional line. We vote based on history. So there's no way that one party will have accumulated over 40% of their vote if the election process was free, fair, and transparent. The people who cheated for them, they didn't know that all they wanted to do to make sure they gave the CDC a win. That's what they were told from the start. We can give you first round on one-round victory. They try to sell that narrative, telling the Liberian people, even before the election, that one-round victory is a show. One-round victory is a show. One-round victory is clear. And the stupid part of the whole thing was the Unity Party following that narrative. That we too can win one round. Even they knowing that that is not possible. CDC knows it was not possible. They knew that they were just trying to set the stage to defend the cheating that they were going to do. So all these numbers that they just announced for the presidency, those numbers were decided before the election. And they know it. And they know that we know it. That's why we talk about those things way before the election. We said there will be a huge cheating. There will be a massive cheating. We said it has been planted, that they have already contacted some people in the sub-region. Some of the observers, some of the so-called observers are accomplices. Some of the observers are accomplices. They are part of the plot to defraud the Liberian people. Some of them, not all of them, some of them are part of the process. Those were the ones, right after the election, they started talking about the peaceful nature, the free and fair nature. All those people then are bad people. Not because somebody coming from a different country make them good. The same criminal you have in your country, we got similar criminals in other countries. Do you know when elections are held in other countries, the likes of Edwin Snow and other people go to other countries to serve as observer? If Edwin Snow has friends that are running for something in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Kenya, in Tanzania, or anywhere in Africa, if Edwin Snow has friends there, and Edwin Snow is serving as an observer, international observer, a member of the Liberian legislature, Senate at that rate, people are going to say, oh yes, we have some international observer here. He even spoke. They said the process was free and fair. What do you expect of Edwin Snow? To the other people, Edwin Snow is a credible person because he came from another country. He's a high-profile government official from other country. But when Edwin Snow is in Liberia, when Ellis Taylor is in Liberia, when the last of Prince Johnson and Jeremiah Kunde, they are in Liberia, you don't see them as credible diplomats. You don't see them as dependable diplomats. You see them as a bunch of criminal-minded people who are involved in exploitations of our country for themselves. Similarly, some of those people that you were seeing in Liberia there, the international community, international observers, most of them are a bunch of criminals. And they are not even trusted in their country. Nobody even believes them. Nobody trusts them. Nobody understands what they do. But when they come on the international scene, they kind of pretend to as if to say they are some kind of both honorable people, respected. They are not. So to tell you that the process was not only fraudulent, but it was pre-planned months before the election. We said it. In fact, everybody in the process was cheated. They cheated everybody. The cheating only benefited some people, and other people were victimized. But they cheated everybody, because the reason why we said cheating, the process was not free, was not fair, was not transparent, and it has no integrity. As is right now, the Election Commission, they know exactly what they are up to. They know exactly what they are going to do. They know. And I'm saying the Unity Party decision to accept the result as is, it may come out to catch up with them. The Unity Party best bet was to reject and contest the result, along with other political parties, whether it is Mr. Cummings, Cyril Beslow, Dr. Clarence, Timon Gonglo, Lucini Kamara, and all other major actors. Bwaka should have taken the lead, call everybody, folks, in as much as we seem to be neck and neck and neck with George Weah. I don't even believe George Weah deserves the number he's getting. We feel cheated. Like the Unity Party was saying that they can win first round. And if you did not win first round, you feel cheated, you feel like they inflated your Weah number, you should have contested, say, no, this whole process is fraudulent. Call other people from other opposition political parties to join you, to question the process, to call for a recount, to call for a rerun, to call for an investigation into the process. Make the entire opposition body to be part of the process. In the end, even if everybody agree, everybody come to say, you know what? Let the process go on as planned. That means you have somehow earned the trust and confidence and support of the opposition political party, since they presented you as leaders or leader of the opposition. Since you are now being projected as the major or the main opposition, you should have done everything to collaborate, to coordinate and cooperate with other opposition political party to question the process that everybody believes that the process was not free, was not fair, was not transparent. Unity Party should have taken the lead to say, hey, we don't believe this process is fraudulent. In as much as you putting us as second, we believe we're supposed to be first. Since you believe what you said, since you believe that you had 90% of the vote, in fact, the Unity Party said the former chairman of the National Election Commission told them, and they had him on video in the picture, that he told them that based on the number that he has looked at, based on the tally sheet available to the Unity Party, that they believe if the numbers are counted correctly, Joseph Boakai had won the election. Are you telling me the former chairman of the Election Commission also lied to the Liberian people that he cannot be trusted? Are you telling me the Unity Party had that press conference wherein leaders of the Unity Party spoke with so much confidence that they have won this election? Are you telling me they were too lying to the Liberian people? Are you telling me Darius DeLong, who had the tally sheet in the blue plastic bag, also lied to the Liberian people? Those are my problems. If you believe in that, if you believe in that which you had in your hand, if you believe in what you were telling the Liberian people, that you already won the election based on the facts available to you, based on document in your possession, and you believe in that. In fact, you said based on the counting of the ballot you had, 90% of total vote in the country. See, you believe in that. And based on that, you believe that Joseph Boakai won the election. And Dillon said anything short of that will be unacceptable. If you believe in that, and other opposition political parties are saying that their supporters, their fans, and people who participated in the election are touting the number, and you believe that you already won the election, but then they come and give you different numbers, I think you have a huge ground to stand on. You could have had the support of other political parties from the opposition community to join you to say, hey, this process is fraudulent. This process was not free, was not fair, was questionable. Let's join together, hand in hand. At least, if anything, that would have united or that would have brought the opposition together to form some form of unity among the opposition, would have been the fact that everybody feel cheated. But you know, United Party always used to talk about opposition unity. But every opportunity that presented itself that could have been used as a means to unite the opposition, you never took advantage of it because you were being selfish. Because your intent was not about uniting the opposition to benefit Liberian people. Uniting the opposition will only mean uniting the opposition that will benefit Unity Party and Joseph Boakai. But even when you feel like you are winning, even when you think you are winning, you could not stay unite the people to somehow solidify what you believe. Those are some of the problems. How come United Party name is now on that document? Asking for forensic examination of the document of the ballot papers. At least joining the other opposition to say, you know what, let's do the recount. Maybe if you think forensic examination will be expensive, now Komis and Monuba and Sarah are saying, NEC, go ahead and keep it with no cost to you. You're not paying anything. We will take care of it. We will pay for it. We want to make sure the Liberian people are satisfied. We want to make sure the Liberian people are respected. We want to make sure the Liberian people votes are counted. We want to make sure that the election reflect the way of the Liberian people. If you, Joseph Boakai and Unity Party, will have taken the lead to do this, no matter when and how this election process will have gone, people will kind of trust you that you people are there for the people, you are there for the opposition, you are not in bed with the government, or you are not somehow aiding and abetting the cheating that the CDC government was engaged in. But many Liberian people feel like, okay, United Party accepting these things because of the fact that they are in the second round, they are aiding and abetting the government to defraud the Liberian people. Now, Cummings, Monuba, and Cyril, they're going to be considered now by many Liberians who feel cheated as heroes, as people who are standing up for them, as people who care about their plight, people who care about their future, who care about their vote, even though they have been projected as a bunch of non-entities, insignificant people that got no fish to fry because nobody voted for them, even though that's how they have been projected. But they are still saying, in as much as you try to humiliate us, in as much as you try to make it look like we are nobody, and we know our people believe in us, we know our people trust us, and we are there for Liberia and the Liberian people, we are going to stand up for them, regardless of how you projected us, regardless of how you try to humiliate us, regardless of how you try to demean us, to shame us in front of our people. No matter what you do, what you try to do, we will still stand up for our people. They will come out as heroes, regardless of the outcome. The fact that they decided to stand up for the people, and they are taking this thing to the next level, making sure that the people vote are counted, making sure that the Liberian people are not cheated. Let me tell you something. Somebody may think, oh, the people are NEC, they will not comply, they will not cooperate with the demand or the request. But you know what will happen? If NEC refuses to comply or to cooperate with that request, with no cost to you, just keep the document then as is. Keep them. We need it for the sake of clarity. That will even help NEC to clear our doubt whether or not the process was free, fair, and transparent, whether or not the results being announced are actually reflective of the will of the people. The forensic examination will clarify all of those things. So NEC will have no reason or reasons to deny that process. So if NEC attempt to circumvent, to deny, to somehow create some barrier that will somehow undermine this process, then that will clarify, that will justify, that will solidify what we said, that the process was not free and fair and transparent. So next, you need to play with that document. Every single document, every ballot paper that people voted, people used to vote, should be examined. They will know if the 114,000 invalid votes are actually invalid votes. And based on what? Based on what? What were the circumstances, reasons that those documents were rendered invalid? Based on what? They will know. You see? So that will even bring about some level of integrity to NEC. So NEC should not play with this request. it will be in the interest of not only the Liberian people, but also the National Election Commissions. So, because it will clarify the doubt of the people. And this thing, it will do two things. One, clarify our doubt. Everybody is satisfied. The process was free, fair. Everybody was involved in the process. And whoever wins the election will prove that they have the mandate of the Liberian people. It will prove that they have the mandate of the Liberian people, that they were voted for and by the Liberian people. So, Joseph Boakai, the Unity Party, it's not too late yet. I think they should add their voice. I think they should add their voice. And I also believe if Joseph Boakai happy to reach out to Mr. Cummings for anything in terms of support, Mr. Cummings' first question should be whether Boakai believed in the process was free, fair, and transparent. They should also inform Mr. Boakai about some of the things that they know, what they have been told, and some of the factors driving their request for a forensic examination of the documents of the ballot papers. And ask Mr. Boakai, if they haven't done so, to help them to add his voice to the process so that the Liberian people can know exactly what happened and how it happened. I'm not sure if Joseph Boakai will do it, but that's what he should do. He should add his voice to that of Mr. Cummings, to Madam Beslow, Nyanti, and Dr. Clarence Monba. On behalf of the Liberian people, if Joseph Boakai is really want to be the president for all Liberians, he shouldn't sweep under the carpet the concerns of the Liberian people. If Mr. Boakai is to reach out to Madam Sarah Beslow, she should tell him, we have a concern. Can you add your voice to this? Let us fight collectively to make sure the process is free, fair, and transparent, to make sure the results announced are what they are reflective of the people will. So let Joseph Njima Boakai, when he reach out to Clarence Monba, Clarence Monba should tell him the same thing, that we respect you, we love you, and we believe in you as one of the leaders now. But can you allow us to go through this process while the plan for whatever is going on? The planning of the second round is going on. But can you join us in this effort? Liberian people want to know what happened and how it happened. Can you help us? You know, let me say this to you. Like we said, we were the first major network to question the credibility of the election, and we still stand by it. We were also the first to call and condemn Councillor Tiawan Gonglo for him to have chickened out at the embryonic stage of the process. When you only had that time, you only had about, I don't know, 10% or 6% or 5% announced, he went and conceded, validating the result without even knowing the outcome of the election. It means that Tiawan Gonglo did not even believe in himself coming into the election. It means that Tiawan Gonglo did not believe that he had any vote for himself. Tiawan Gonglo to even believe, for Tiawan Gonglo to come as earlier at 6% or less than 6% of the ballots being reported for Tiawan Gonglo to have accepted and conceded without knowing what's going on. I mean, sometimes politics can make some people to look funny, because I don't want to use the other word on him. But politics can make some people to look very, very funny. Tiawan Gonglo considered the election without even knowing what's going on in the electoral process. Maybe, I'm speculating on this particular one. Maybe Tiawan Gonglo believed in the information the London were putting out there that Joseph Boakai finna win this election when the ballots are counted. So maybe Tiawan somehow trying to get something from Joseph Boakai, thinking that Joseph Boakai already won the election. I don't think Tiawan will expect or he want anything. For Tiawan to have come out and said, it looks like the Liberian people are resolved in selecting between Ambassador Joseph Nyima Boakai and President Weah. That's the word of the Liberian people. Are you kidding me? In only 60%, even America here, they don't do that. America, the mother of all democracy, they don't do that. They wait and follow the process. They only concede when they are convinced. You can only concede when you are convinced that you have lost the election. But to prematurely, at the embryonic stage of the announcement, not even the infancy stage, prematurely conceding, making it to look like the country one two-party system. The country is resolved. They are giving, making it look like, this thing here is between Joseph Boakai, thinking that Joseph Boakai is going to win. Maybe they will give him a job. He already giving up on himself. That presidency in the area. He did not even believe that he had any support that can actually give him anything. The number they give to Tiawan Gonglo in Nimba, that's not Tiawan Gonglo's number. He was cheated. Tiawan Gonglo got more than 50,000 votes in Nimba. I know that. But Tiawan Gonglo prematurely conceded, not believing in himself, undermining everything that he stands for. And this man's supposed to be a lawyer. Lawyers follow processes. Lawyers follow everything to the letter. But as a lawyer, seasoned lawyer, justice minister, former justice minister, former attorney general of the whole country, prematurely conceding without even waiting for a process. Bridget Lemon, welcome, my brother.
What's up, Sekou, and what's up to the viewing audience? It's everyday Liberian politics, man. These guys make moves that will keep you scratching your head, but that's the nature of the game. I told you before, politics is a compromise game. It's not only about integrity. You can have integrity and still get result, but the nature of the sport itself, it doesn't call for too much of an integrity. It calls for you to be transactional and to be a deal maker. That's just why it is. If you look at it, even in America, it's the same old thing. It will look like they are principle minded, but no, at the end of the day, it comes down to negotiation, deal making. It's like twisting arm. That's just why it is. Because you got to give something in exchange. Like I always say, you must give something in exchange for what you want. Let me just give you an example. Let's say you went to Indonesia and you went to a conference where a bunch of venture capitalists or investors that wanted to come and increase rice production in Liberia over the next 10 years. And they proposed a budget of $100 million to buy equipment, machineries to come and increase rice production. And you got to Liberia, you presented the bill to the Liberian Senate, and 10 of them were holding the bill. saying that you should give them $50,000 each before they can sign on to that bill. Now, if you were to sign on to that bill, that's corruption. But in relationship to what is at stake and how the country tends to benefit from $100 million worth of investment, you will end up giving them 50,000 each because it's like the greater good over the common good. That's just why it is. It's all transactional. You see in America here, Democrats know that a typical Republican will not support an abortion bill, but what they would do, that's what they get something called poke barrel and earmark spending when there is a big budget on the floor, wherein it's about military spending or it's about paying the country's debt, then they slip it through because they know even though a Republican is against abortion, he will have to sign that bill because you got something big that is at stake. That's just how it works. So you should expect to see a lot of this going on. When people talk about integrity all the time, say, yeah, you can be principle minded, but when you enter the nature of politics, you got to be transactional. That's just why it is. You scratch my back and I scratch your back. I give you
All right.
to get that.
Thank you, my brother. Even though you joined us late, we'll just take a few calls and then we will call it a day. Yeah, caller, what is your name and where you calling from? Okay, so we lost our caller. So before we, get any call, Brazilian monk, let me ask you this question. We listened to the final result given today by NEC, closing the chapter of the first round.
Yeah.
And we know the documents, the ballot paper for the first round is different from the second round. The ballot paper from the first round had 19 people plus the president. The second round paper will only have 2 people. So the requested documents by the opposition leaders to ask the National Elections Commission to keep those papers, both used and unused paper. They want to use it for forensic examination. They shouldn't have any reason to destroy it or to say otherwise because they don't need it. It's not going to be used again. It's not going to be reused. They ain't going to do nothing with it. They are only going to destroy it if nobody needed it. But the fact that people who participated, who pay their money to participate in the process, saying that they want to somehow carry on some examination, if you have nothing to hide, you should be able to provide that document to them with no hesitation. What do you think, Brazilian monk?
Well, by law, that's how it's supposed to be. You can conduct a forensic audit, and the only thing you can do is to run a random check or to test the system by using ballot paper because we don't vote using voting machines. We use paper ballot. So the most you can do is to conduct forensic audit on those paper, both used and unused. But the one thing that I know, those guys, when you go into an election with a possibility of with both sides claiming first round victory, then it means they never have ballot printed for round number 2 because the anticipation that somebody will have won in round number 1. And I know the only person that can win in those elections is Georgia, because I know Georgia will not rig an election, like I always say, for a Bwaka to come and take the take the sport. It would never happen. That is not going to happen no matter how they do it. And I'm looking at the time. So I know they got something going on behind the scene, because if you are making a case for a one-round victory, then why would it be the essence of spending extra money to go and print ballot for round number 2? And you remember the signal that they never had money to even won. They never even anticipated the election going to a round number 2, and they never had finance or funds to even carry on the process. So you tell them in a few days they will go to a particular company and then tell them, say, oh, print out some ballot paper for round number 2. And even if that will happen, like I said, these things will be forensically examined, and they will be engineered as well. So the most you can do, if there is any form of a suspicion, it can only come from the ballot paper, and that's why you want to conduct your forensic investigation. That would be the fairest thing and the smartest thing to do, just to make sure that these elections are fair and credible. But I know they are not credible anyway.
So my next question to you, do you think they'll be able to determine whether or not the number being read or the number that was read by the National Election Commission are actually reflective of how the people voted? They will be able to determine that based on the forensic examination on the ballot papers?
I believe the Commons people got a data analyst that work with them. They're taking down these numbers. And when you bring a forensic expert, you got to give him numbers for him to be able to either solidify your case or for yourself to break your own case. Because the forensic expert will be looking at numbers as well if they are going to investigate. I don't know if NEC, I know we're dealing with a cartel. I don't know if they will be able to turn up those documents to a forensic investigator to run tests on the system. I don't think it will happen. Maybe, but it's yet to be seen.
But why would you refuse? Why would be the ground? On what ground?
If you're refusing, it just means that the process is not fair and a forensic investigation.
Exactly. So that's what I'm asking you. So what reason do they have to refuse to cooperate with the forensic examination?
Second, we're not dealing with a normal government here. We are dealing with a cartel. So nothing is off limit with these guys. It's not like you're dealing with some regular professional government that will go by the laws, electoral laws, or on the constitution. No, we are dealing with a bunch of talks here. So their refusal to turn over ballot paper, it would just reinforce the argument that the election was rigged. For me, I don't need a forensic investigator to come and tell me this election was rigged. I know that it's rigged. It just needs to be proven. For me,
but if you want to prove it, you would.
Yeah, you want to prove it, you got to come with documented evidence. But I know just from the process, and I know when it comes to turning over those documents, the likelihood of them turning it over is, I don't see it happening.
So if they, let's say they refuse to turn it over, and what should be the action of the Liberian people? I mean, everybody should believe now that the process, that would be a justification that will solidify our point that the process was fraudulent, the election was rigged, and then what next?
Well, the Liberian people, one of the reasons these guys always main their anger and against the people in the diaspora, because people in the diaspora follow stuff a lot, and they believe that we are the one always instigating folks over there, because they understand that people would never take a bold step to defend their right. They're always looking up to people from the diaspora or international community. So one of the things, if you observe this government, when they came to power, they came with it kind of for abuse. And they believe that, they came with one impression: the Liberian people are tired of war, so we can literally abuse them and they will accept anything. You saw it with the mop-up exercise, whether it's extrajudicial killing. They never envisioned the idea that people could take to the street and call for a civil unrest. I mean, even if you want to consider to be a peaceful civil unrest, but you can say civil unrest, then you say peaceful. So they know that fact. They believe that another theory is when the opposition split and you get something like that, maybe they might not react because each side will be blaming the others. So they take all those other extra factors into consideration to make that decision. They know 99% or 95% of the time that the people will just accept the result, because that's why they were programmed to. And that's why I told you, if CDC couldn't rig in a one-round election because they knew the public reaction, that is why they want to make it a close and giving Georgia a slack lead, even though it's not a real lead, but it put into the mind of the average voter that Georgia already won in round number one. So if he rigs the election in round number two, we'll still accept the result because we got the impression that he won in the first round already. That's just electioneering. It's just common sense. That's the psychological part. You don't have to deal with the numbers. But in Africa, most of the time when incumbents win first round victory, they are most likely to win round number two. So they believe people will just go with the flow, because you know what? There are numbers that prove that Georgia won a slightly little bit of lead, maybe 5,000 or 6,000 votes over Joseph Boakai. So if it were possible for him to win an election in the first round with a little numbers, then most likely in round number two he can take the day, and the turnout will be low as well, because that's just normal when we go to round up.
So let's talk about this for the sake of argument. Assuming that the process will be free, fair, and transparent. Second round, you have a government with the state resources. You have a unity party with limited resources. Do you think that put the government even in a legal, free and fair, transparent, where you have a level playing field, wherein people are giving, the chance to exercise their franchise and their vote be counted? Do you think that put the government in an advantageous position against the Unity Party, if at all? I mean, from the financial standpoint.
Oh, that one is a plus for them. That's one of the advantages that come with incumbency. And we saw, taking the nature of how corrupt our society is and the major players in the game, it was one of the reasons that people came up with the idea of the CPP. Because to beat a man like George Weah, you have to beat him and overwhelm the system, that it will make it absolutely impossible to even think about rigging an election. But unfortunately, that's not the case. They're telling that the numbers are neck and neck, even though George Weah got a slight lead. But equally so, when you factor in that they have extra resources, they sit over the state's cover. I saw a bunch of school kids today telling their ARCOP leader to endorse CDC. Who do you think is going to be the one with the upper hand when you go to a round number 2? It can only be a George Weah, because the vast majority of them will compromise. Even people that are on the rescue team, they will take that bait. So it's just normal. You should expect it. It will happen. I mean, sorry for my Unity Party folks. That's just the nature of the game. They won't leave money on the table, because, like I tell folks, if you are going into round number 2, you are literally saying round number 1 was legitimate. And George Weah will not rig a first round for you to win the second round. So technically, you are saying that the only possible outcome in this election is a George Weah win. Either way you look it up. So why not take something instead of walking with empty hand? That's what they would do. The vast majority will take something.
Yeah, thank you. So somebody asked a question, whether it's legal for NEC to turn over election documents to, for forensic.
Anybody should be able to request.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
It is legal. Let me just give you guys, the person who asked the question, whether it's legal for NEC to have done, to do that. Yes, indeed, it's legal. You remember when the 25 million mop-up exercise happened and the 16 billion got missing?
Yeah, the cross
George
report.
Weah himself hired forensic investigator, expert, the company from the United States here. I can just record the name right now.
That's the Crows, right? Crows report.
The Crow. The Crow. They call them Crow something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they investigated that, and they came up with their funding, and the funding was valid. Beyond that, when Cummings was falsely accused in that fake prosecution, Cummings hired experts from outside to come and investigate. Those were also forensic experts to investigate that document that they said the man played with. So yes, and because of that investigation and the funding of that investigation, that case was dismissed. So yes, it's legal. So if they refuse this time around to comply or to cooperate with the request, it means that the process was fraudulent and they're afraid of being exposed.
That's what I think they are going to do, Sekou, with that process. They know that it will be an honorable thing to do, to turn those documents over, or the ballot paper. They will respect the law, but they will play a bureaucratic game by delaying the process, slow walking it, so that by the time the second round is done, when that momentum is not there again for election, and then you can say we will turn those documents over for forensic investigation.
Yeah, but if they do that, if that's the question I was asking last night, if they decide to carry on a process wherein the government of Liberia is elected, or president is elected, president is inaugurated, but then eventually Liberian people found out that the process was fraudulent, that it was a fake process, that was illegal, because whatever is now legal, what is now free, fair, and transparent, that's not legal, because legality means free, fair, and transparent elections. That is what is required, by our constitution. So I'm asking the Liberian people, if we found out later on that the process was not free, fair, and transparent, and they already have a government in place that was elected through a fraudulent process, what should be the action of the Liberian people? Many people were suggesting yesterday that means that government should be dissolved and form an interim government that will provide the avenue, that will provide a conducive environment where a free and fair and transparent election can be conducted.
Yeah, people always get this notion that just because you won an election, it means you can overpower the will of the people because they elected. That's not the case. The people still have their constitutional authority. So if they slow walk this process with the expectation that the momentum will die from the election, that they can just rig an election and get away, and they conduct a forensic investigation that raised the red flag, then at that stage they are declared illegitimate. It will circle. The thing always come down to the Liberian people.
Yeah, go ahead. So if the process is illegitimate, that means it's not legal. That means
Then the government is illegitimate. That's just what it means. Once the forensic audit come out to raise the red flag and say, yeah, these elections are rigged, then it means at that moment the government become illegitimate. So it will be up to the people. It always comes down to them. They could choose not to participate in round number 2. They could choose and write in their candidate's name. They got so many tools at their disposal. It's up to them to make that decision. If they were separate, then so be it. But once a forensic investigation is conducted at that stage, knowing fully whether the election was fraudulent, and it can be proven in a court with documented evidence, then at that stage, the government become illegitimate. So the Liberian people will have the constitutional authority to delegitimize them. That's just why it is.
Well,
somebody, or the military could save for the headache instead of the people getting the screen. The military can do it.
Yeah.
You see, that one of the thing I don't trust our military. The only reason the military exists so that when societal functions break apart, they will be the one to play referee until we can get things back in order. That's how, even in the great United States, when in the Constitution, when things go well, when it go wrong, the military is what they are counting on to put things under control.
Yeah.
So our
in
guys
fact,
don't trust them.
In fact, the way it is looking now, if the United Party people were really in this for the Liberian people, right? And they really want the mandate of the people, and they want the support of the opposition, political parties in the entire country, they should have just supported this process and allow the process to go through
play out. Yes.
Involving in any second round talk or anything. Let us say, you know what, we will let everybody request to NEC, okay, we want this process to be clear and to be free first. If it can be done before the expiration of their tenure, then we'll go for the second round. But if it can be done before the expiration,
they won't do that.
Then we can go for interim government, and then whenever the process is clear, then we can
go ahead. They got so many ways to skin a cat. But like I said, that is why it won't be logical at this stage to pick a side, because our guys on the other side, they are not interested in the kind of a terror you are coming up with, because for them, they are already in the second round. And that's the bit CDC always throwing. Like I told you, it's just a repeat of 2017. CDC always want Unity Party because they believe they will beat Unity Party, that they can cheat Unity Party and it will be accepted. What CDC doesn't want is another candidate coming into the picture. So they will always eliminate everybody else to get Unity Party, because for them, like I said, it's an entitlement thing. Unity Party deprived CDC of power before. So a Unity Party and CDC goes into a round number 2. Whether Unity Party participate or not, CDC becomes the legitimate government, because for them, they are giving Unity Party a dose of their own medicine from 2005 to 2011. So the only thing CDC don't want is an Alexander Cummings or Tewan Gonglo or anybody else standing in their way. They always want Unity Party, because for Unity Party, they believe they don't have to beat down the ballot, but they can beat them anyway, and the election will be accepted because they did it to them before. That's just why it is.
So sometimes I can just look at our people. So that means, do you think Unity Party decision to actually be in this team by all means, regardless of what happened, is it because they just believe that when Joseph Baker is out of the picture, they'll have nobody else, or what?
Yeah, that's it. Like you're putting all last fight. You see, for Unity Party, the process is always fair until they become victim. When they are not victim, yeah, the process is always fair. And this is where you get it wrong. Because if you legitimize the election, then other guys cannot make the case, because you are the one going to round number 2. Like I said, Sekou, everything about politics cannot only be about political issues. Some of them can just be psychological. If I were a CPP supporter or Taiwan Congress supporter, and McKinnon never made it to round number 2, and Unity Party, who's supposed to be the one leading the charge, telling you that I'm going to second round, knowing fully well they stand no chance of winning, why would motivate me to jump on the screen in case of a civil unrest? I don't want to use the word civil unrest or peaceful protest. There will be no incentive
it could
for
be
me to
called
go
civil
and
disobedience. It's the same thing.
there will be no incentive for me to put my life on the line and go in the streets because the guy who's supposed to be leading the charge is telling me that the election is free, fair, and transparent by virtue of going into the second round, knowing fully well that the first round was tainted. So it just undercut your whole decision making. And they would, like I said, all these theories you are suggesting, they would never accept any single one of them because for them, they are in round number 2 and there is a possibility that they can win. For them, it's only the outcome. They could care less about the process. That's why that Unity Party standard operating procedure. Once we are into round number 2, everything else is thrown out the window. That's it.
So whether we win or lose,
yeah,
let's be there.
Yeah, we in the second round.
No other opponent there, we are there.
Yeah, we okay.
Chance.
Like I said, it's the same 2017. When people like Cabinet Janet and the Cumminses and the Bronskin were calling for a systematic change or a rerun, no, Unity Party could care less. For them, once Joseph Boaga is into the second round, Labro is okay.
So let me ask you this question. I don't know whether you follow it. For some reason, the chairperson of the Election Commission seems to be very unaware of herself, not knowing a lot of things. She even referring to some of the people as the veterans, members of the commission, people who actually understand the process. But with our understanding the processes and the legal, aspect of things, when it comes to NEC standard operation procedures, without knowing all of those things, without being qualified to understand these things, why is she the one choosing to be, the leader, even when she doesn't understand the process?
Well, and when it comes to election and supervising election, is one of those once in a lifetime opportunity. Only few people had a chance to supervise more than one election. And it all depends how quick you can pick up the job and how you can learn faster on the job. But there's no experience to say, oh, Davieda Brown Lasana ran an election before in the past to build on experience. So, like I said, it all depends how she will manage the process, but she's still a work in progress. She's still learning the job. So you expect for her to make kind of a mistake and not being fully open with the laws, electoral laws, and the processes, because like I said, it's one in a lifetime opportunity. So,
but you know that something happened. You know that something happened to Unity Party in Lofa County in the by-election that actually made the CDC government to say they won the Unity Party because they were cheated in some part of Lofa County that time. Yeah. And that was simply because they never had the entire tally sheet from the entire county. So they were cheated in some part of it to give CDC back Kennedy the edge to won the election. And again, they know that Unity Party being kind of fighting with everybody, they can cheat the Unity Party again and nothing will happen and nobody will support them. That was the thing of the CDC. But knowing that they cheated everybody first before going now into the second round with United Party, you think they forget in their metrics, you think they forget to actually acknowledge the fact that before we can even cheat the United Party or beat the United Party fairly, the cheating we're going to do to proceed to the second round could be costly as well. You think they forget about what?
They won't take that part into consideration because, like I said, for CDC to defeat the United Party, it's not about their performances or how the vote.
You're a little bit low. You're a little bit low now. For some reason.
Hold on, you can hear me?
Okay, yeah, much better. Yeah.
For CDC, that's why George I keep telling the campaign trail, we did it before we can do it again. For CDC beating Unity Party, it's not about CDC government performances or how the people is going to react. For them, like I said, it's an entitlement thing.
1 second. Yeah. 1 second, I'm picking up something real quick. You can keep talking.
Yes, it's an entitlement thing. They can beat them one or two ways. And they know that if they get to the bottom of the process, they're going to be the one to come out on top. So who will you want to choose in this process? You cannot tell how a guy like Comey is going to perform in a hypothetical matchup between the CPP and the CDC. But you can gauge how United Party is going to perform, most especially with all the resources at your disposal and what they did in the past. So CDC, 100%, 99% of the time, they will always prefer United Party because it increases the chances of winning as compared to going against an unknown candidate that you cannot even tell how he's going to perform in a general election. That's just why it is. So either way, if you're in the CDC camp, you will always want United Party because you believe you have this moral argument, you got resources. United Party being out of power, the finances are not there. You got a lot of advantages, even though you can make the case that Georgia is not as popular as before, but equally so he still got some tools at disposal that he could use against United Party, and that's exactly what they're going to do, Segu. I don't think anything else is going to change in this election. I already know it's rigged, and CDC will continue marching to their destination. That's just what will be. There's only one possible outcome in this election. I looking at my man Joe Manjala saying that my analysis is already theoretical. I mean, I'm just being realistic. You can call it theoretical, but I know you can have your own assumptions, but there is something called reality, and that's what will happen 99% of the time. That's the result you will get. Because if the election is rigged, there is no way CDC is rigging an election for United Party to come and win. It's just common sense. So there's nothing theoretical about that. It's just plain, cool, hard truth. That's just what it is. And we will see in a few days from now. But we know the outcome already. The outcome is predictable. Yep, nothing going to change. Yeah, our host is off for a minute, and that's it. But we'll be looking at our political leaders. I don't know whether that photo op was an endorsement or it was just meant for optics, but we'll see. We're still looking up to the CPP. I trust my political leader judgment, but like I said, it's politics, it's transactional. So maybe that photo op today was trying to signal something that is going to pick a side, or they are just saying we are aware of the process and carrying on our forensic investigation. But
you mean which photo? Photo by Bwakai and Cummings?
yeah, Cummings and I saw.
But you know, I announced that one yesterday, right?
Yeah. The SKTV broke the news that there will be a meeting. SKTV is 95% of the time right on their analysis. So that's why I told folks.
We said Bwakai was going to be meeting with Cummings today.
Today, and it happened.
And then we can also announce to you that tomorrow or Thursday, President Wiyaku will also be meeting with Cummings.
Yeah, everybody's meeting. You know, it's political.
So those who are saying that, oh, you know, Cummings already met with Bwakai today. He's already with the rescue team. You are lying to yourself. You're deceiving yourself. No, that's not what the photo op was about. Stop lying.
But that's why they want to sell. They think they can play to their advantage. Even if Cummings is not going to endorse Joseph Bwakai, the fact that Cummings and Bwakai is in a photo op, you are a United Party president, you want to sell that optics as well. It's politics. It's fair.
But I don't even know why would they be excited to get Cummings when they believe that Cummings will get 1%.
1%.
And they are celebrating that Cummings got 1%. But then why are they really, happy?
That's why I told you they are only making that move. The only reason they are pretending Cummings is the most sought after candidate in this election. That's why I told you that yesterday. If they are reaching out to Cummings, then they are invalidating the election. Because nobody will want a 1% guy when they are both neck and neck at 43%.
Yeah, because none of them got like 50% or maybe like 49% where you don't need a 1%.
If you got 48.5 or 49%, it makes sense. But you are telling all the rest of the candidates became irrelevant and you are neck to neck at 43. So why would you be going after a particular guy? If you are going after him, then you are telling me that the election results are not fair, that he got more than what the number is suggesting. And they try to mask that by saying, okay, you cannot say we went to Cummings to target him only, but we went out to Appleton as well. No, we all know Appleton is just a placeholder. We know that you're not doing it with good intention. I mean, you want to create that optics, but unfortunately, you cannot make the case from a numerical standpoint because Appleton numbers are not real. So Cummings will be the target of both sides when it comes to the whole photo op thing. That's just why it is.
Yeah. So what happened? The CPP, like we said it yesterday and the day before yesterday, CPP already got a committee set up. And that committee, I believe, is headed by Councillor Charlie Bronsky. there will be meeting on behalf of the CPP with CDC and Unity Party on a team. So the decision what to do, where to go, will also, depend on what that committee will decide. So, yes, what happened, yesterday, yesterday, we had a conversation. Some people, while they were talking about the president, meeting with commies, and we informed them that, okay, you'll be waiting that president meeting with commies, but already meeting with commies tomorrow. So they might have expedited.
Yeah. They'll do it quick.
Yeah, their approach so that, I can see all of them meeting commies, today, which is okay. But tonight, maybe we'll have more information tonight as to what happened.
The details
in the meeting. We'll give detail. We'll have some details as to what's happening in the meeting, and we will come here. Our late night show can be so. Can you believe that after all that thing they were doing yesterday, after that show, I got up this morning, I saw that the show had 12,000 people watching.
Yeah, they always come after. They don't want to be the ones. When you come on the show, the moment you pop on your screen, it shows that you're on. Your name will pop up, and most of them,
so they can wait.
They want to max their footprint, so they will come after. The vast majority will come after. That's what they are doing right now.
Because what I saw yesterday, before we finished the show, I had about 800 vote. 800 comments, but then it went to 1,000 comments, and then more than 12,000 people watch it. I'm like, but where were those people who were doing the show?
Yeah, that's a compounding effect of social media.
Okay, it's actually 14,000 now.
Yeah, that leg and that.
And the one we did the day,
yeah,
that one got 19,000 views.
Yes. So
wow.
Don't be surprised in a couple of days to reach up to 50,000.
But Mo, you said something yesterday. Our people, they gravitate more towards
sensationalism. Yeah.
But where substance are discussed,
no, they won't come there.
Where substantive issues are discussed and people speak truth, they don't like that.
Yeah.
Only a few people that now we're not saying every Liberian, but we're talking about the vast majority.
Yes.
Vast majority, they like sensation. They like things that will be like, oh, breaking news. Oh,
breaking news, lies and gossip and that's why it is.
Yeah, but again, we'll come out. We might come on tonight again. We are all late night show.
The late night.
when we have gathered more information.
That's where the damage are caused from the late night program.
Late night. So we might come on tonight. But again, we want to say thank you so much. Somebody say late night. Let me tell you the show last night. The president and the entire group, they were watching the show last night. When we talk about the breaking news, they didn't know what was going on. Because I know people that we can talk to. I know people that they can raise concern and how they want other people around the president and the president himself to actually watch and get some information. Let me tell you, Mong, you said something yesterday that I want to say here. A lot of people, including some media personalities and some leaders, both in government and outside of government, they come, they listen to SKTV, they take cue from here, some of the analysis that all of you provide here, they take it into serious consideration, recommendations, everything. I've seen a lot of it. Sometimes they don't give us credit. They don't talk about it. They don't call our name. You can see in the blueprint. You can
even the campaign team.
You can see you can see all over the place.
Yeah, even the campaign teams, when you post something on your wall, they pretend they don't see it. They won't comment. But guess what? A couple of days later, you see it being put into effect. They might not do it directly, or they will put a little spin on it, but it's the same idea. But like I said, it's not a bad thing. That's the whole thing about leadership. A leader is not the one that knows everything, but a leader is the one that's able to gather information and make rational decisions after gathering information from so many different sources. So it's a very good thing. The only difference is just try to acknowledge the people that came up with the original idea at least once in a while. That's a fair thing too.
You're not going to do that. But yeah, like, hey man, folks, Brazilian.
All right, man. This evening we'll be here. We'll be on the evening show as well.
Yeah, my man. Be here on the late night show. Late night show can be juicy.
Yeah, okay.
So, folks, I want to say thank you to all of you for following SKTV. I want to say thank you to those of you who, let me make sure, who always contribute, support, and contribute to SKTV. If you have money to contribute, fine. If you don't have money, fine. Always be here and share the show. Oh, that's the most important thing to me. Be here and share the show and be part of the conversation, calling in, participating in the process. That's all we want from you. Nothing else. Because your input are very important to us. So let me make sure. Yes, so, okay. Nothing to report. Thank you all. We'll be here tonight. Hopefully we'll be here tonight, depending how much information we have. But definitely whatever we know, we'll share with you. If we don't share with you tonight, we'll share with you tomorrow. But some people like the late night show. Nancy, you're laughing. Nancy, you got to call me after the show. Other than that, you'll pay fine. I'm talking to my sister Nancy from, I don't know if I say all that. Somebody will say, but you don't know where your sister lives. Nancy, I don't know Philadelphia. I think that Philadelphia and Nancy living. If you don't call me, the beef fine will be too much. You and Nisa. They're my other sister here from all the way Michigan, now co-play there. Ruth kind of missing action lately. Ruth, don't be discouraged, my dear. Life goes on. They country, they're now funny country. We got a lot of people now who are important people that care about Liberia. Trust me, nothing will go free. All the people that are engaged in these fraudulent activities, they will be caught and they will be exposed and they will pay for it. That I can tell you for sure. We love you all. We'll see you later. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll come on later.
First time I saw your face, I knew I was in love. Baby, your smile takes my breath away. And they can say what I want, girl, I don't mind. As long as you are by my side. Baby, you smile of paradise. Baby, girl, come be my lifeline. How many times do you want me to say I love you? Cause then I tell the world I do. Even you want me, girl, I do. Baby, girl, come be my lifeline. Inikuma. Yega ampa ilikuwa. Anyway, you will come on. How many times do you want me to say I love you? Cause when I tell the world I do. Even you want me, girl, I do. Baby, you want